I want to reiterate, thank you so much, distinguished faculty, staff, alumni, board, Congresswoman Pelosi, for joining us here today. Thank you as well to all of the loved ones who have fed us, been very patient with our 11:55 p.m. deadlines, and made sure we got some sleep throughout our time here. Most of all, thank you, graduating class of 2014. You are my core vision of absolute resilience. Upon receiving notice that I would have the privilege of being the MPA speaker, I was thrilled and terrified. I had a lot of flashbacks while writing to my first presentation in Principles of Sustainable Management, where my blood was pounding and I was trying really hard to make sure my TA, David Bennett, didn't realize how shaky my voice was. Still kind of happens. Sustainability back then was defined along these lines: the ability to create and maintain conditions under which humans can exist in productive harmony for present and future generations. Now, we're an inspired, complex bunch, different backgrounds, goals, interests, and all of those things have changed throughout our time here, just as the definition of sustainability has. These changes have at times rocked us to our very core and filled us with a renewed sense of calm, which happens but doesn't really help when we come across the question, so what do you do again? We have all learned to identify and define the problem, and with each one comes risks and opportunities. For my two fellow MPAs graduating with me today, Elaine and Arif, this translates to a variety of complex projects, including the use of open source data to identify value systems for more informed policy decision-making, and the development of financing strategies to revitalize the Naval Air Station in Alameda. Their own leadership exemplifies what Presidians do. They have demonstrated the power and innovation that arises from applying what we have learned here to the public sector. Sustainable public administration itself is still in its infancy, and the impressive individuals here are paving the way and defining what that means for our future. As both an MPA and an MBA, I myself have struggled to come up with my own answer to this question. Many of us feel the same way when we step outside of our very coveted Presidio bubble. I felt it when I went to Vegas this past weekend. Sustainability, as it was defined 3 years ago, is no longer sustainable for us today. This is compounded by the fact that outside our home, outside our bubble, a lot of people still don't know what it means and how the use of natural and social capital have a direct impact on their lives and that of their loved ones. Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." Over time, our words will change. Our actions will be perceived in an amalgam of ways by any stakeholder we choose to work with and who we affect. The core leadership competencies we have developed at Presidio have enabled us to not be restricted simply by what sustainability used to mean. The key value proposition of Presidio is that it creates leaders who are able to identify and address social, economic, environmental risk. Our competitive advantage is that none of us ever have to live in a silo ever again. We are analysts in an activist space who have the agency to bridge the gap between what is and what can be between business, government, and civil society. We are public practitioners, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call yourself in LinkedIn the week after. We are human beings, part of a global collective, not only ready to help our communities sustain, but become resilient and stronger than they ever were before. What we do is actively strive for progress in ways that are actionable, measurable, and relevant. We're a passionate group of individuals in a collaborative and engaged, very loving community who have actively taken on the task of bringing about change in a world wrought with seemingly insurmountable problems. We have the courage to thrive where others still fear to tread. It's daunting to form a new path that others don't even see yet. But as you take the depth and distance of all of your work in each of your hands, know that you will learn from every failure. You will help voices come together that would otherwise never be heard. and you will generate progress in ways that will make the last mile feel like nothing more than a memory. We do this by being curious. We do this by being vulnerable, and we do this by being resilient. Most of all, we do this by being kind, not only to those who agree, but those who disagree. And we both are all part of those categories. So when a person asks you what you do, tell them and own it. Thank you.